Hi, welcome back. I am going to talk today about a painting that I did the other day, and I had my iPad all set to record and pushed the record button, sat down and painted for a couple of hours, and then when I went back I realized that my back was completely covering the painting. So I do have the painting. The painting got painted. The film didn't get filmed. So I'm going to talk about it anyway. This will be a short video, but I did want to show it to you. This is based on a photo, like a lot of my work is, unless it's really tough to get somebody to sit and pose for you for hours and hours. Photography has sort of taken over that business. So I am also going to do a video probably in the next month on how I set up paintings and the models that I use and how I direct them to sit and all that. So stay tuned for that. This is a painting that is an 8x10. I have painted this similar scene, not exactly the same, but the similar scene in a 30x40. A 30x40 is 3 feet by almost 4 feet, not quite. And it is, you can get very detailed, you can get very accurate. Even though you're doing an impressionistic painting, you still are dealing with fingers and not eyelashes, but you're dealing with fingers and eyes and noses and nostrils and earlobes and all that. On a small painting, you're just thinking about the spots of color. You're kind of squinting your eyes to see where the light falls, and that's what you're painting. A lot of times, this is what happens. A lot of times people will take one of my larger paintings, and on the screen it is small, so they will think that they can get, and when it's reduced it looks fabulous, very detailed, and you can tell who the figure is and all that, and they think that if they order a 8x10 commission that it will have that same kind of detail, but it will not. That is a technological issue that is brought about by our ability to downsize and make things small on the internet. And as many of you know, a lot of my work has been reproduced by card companies and licensed out into calendars and things like that, and they've taken large paintings and made them small, and they look different. It's just a fact. So anyway, let me talk you through this. I'm going to post the picture, and then I'll be back to finish up, and I would love to hear any comments, any questions you have, and you can write those down below. There's also a link. If you click the description box that tells what this video is about, you will find links to my website, my book, a few of my recommendations for sketchbooks and supplies on Amazon, and the Amazon ones are affiliates. And I'll be adding more there too. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you the painting now. Okay, here she is in the corner that I just added. The thing I painted this from a model, and I will put in the picture, the photograph that I used when I set it up. I think that you can tell that it has spots of color. If you took a magnifying glass and you looked at each little thing on it, you would find, brush strokes and paint. I tried to keep to a basic, it's sort of intuitive with me, but when you're starting, it's important to remember that you can use a plan. You can have a color scheme that you're working on. You can start with colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel, opposite each other on the color wheel, that way. Or you can do 4, or you can take a whole section of the color wheel and then have one color down here that's opposite that you're using for accents. One thing that I like to think about when I'm painting my particular style is that you're dealing with value, I think, more than you're dealing with color. A lot of people will ask me, how do you make it the color of what you see? And I don't worry about that. I worry about getting it close, and I worry about making sure that the color relationships are working together. So what I did here is I started with some flesh tones, which are in the red and orange area. So I have, and burnt sienna type colors. And then I made a triangle and I used the greens, the tending more towards yellow green, more of an olive. And then if on the color wheel, if you go straight down, then you find out that you're dealing with a purple or a blue purple. So those were the colors I focused on. And as you lay them out, you will create a big mess as you're mixing and painting and stuff. And so that big mess is very valuable. That big mess is something you can take your razor blade and scoop up and start adding more colors to that. And that is a way to go back into the foliage, into the shadows, into the even the flesh, and you can unify it. You don't want to have a garish painting where it's only those three colors. You want to mix them down so there's lots and lots of neutrals. It's an infinite array that you can make. And you know, sometimes I'll say, wow, I just really need a really bright green, and I'll reach into my my bag and pull out a phthalo green or something like that, a phthalo yellow green. I don't think I did that in this particular one. Now, the other thing I want to talk about, since I don't have the actual video of the painting, is my interpretation of what people look for in a painting. And I would say that the three things that you're dealing with are composition, color, narrative, and finally, rendering. A lot of people think they have to get everything perfect so that it looks real. That's not really necessarily true. I think probably an example of that, when I went to my very first visit, I was visiting someone in another state, and I was flying over Chicago, and I said, I gotta go to that museum. I've never been there. So I arranged to have a ticket that would drop me off there and then go home on another flight later that day. So I went to the Chicago Institute of Art and walked up the stairs, and everybody, gangs of people, hundreds, were waiting to go into the big room where the Impressionists were. The rest of the museum was empty. So color attracts. People love to see paintings of color that sparkles. The Bonnards, I've said that before, the Bonnards, the Renoirs, the ones that were, you know, the flesh is magical, and it doesn't necessarily look like a Titian. A Titian would be perfect. You know, they were able to model the musculature and the arms and the faces of they were telling a story, and they didn't have photographs, and they tried very hard to make it look real, and they achieved that. And the most of the paintings and the glazing are simple colors. There's not a lot of activity going on within the painting. So it's another kitty. I have two. That's the older one. Anyway, so, and then pretty soon they may start meowing. The other thing I want to talk about is the narrative. It's good. It's nice to paint something that's a beautiful scene, but usually there's a beautiful scene with a farmhouse, or there's a beautiful scene with a road leading somewhere, or a gate that's opening. There's a story that's related to in the painting. And here, this is a reflection of my perfect day. And I've painted thousands of paintings that are like this, that where the girl is alone, she's sitting in the garden, beauty is surrounding her, and the sun, you know, I use the sunshine because it makes a scene paintable. You generally would not be sitting in the hot sun reading. You'd find shade, but then it wouldn't be a very exciting painting because you need some contrast. So as you look for a painting, you're going to be thinking about what is paintable, and you're going to arrange it that way. The rendering, I don't care so much about. You can't even see the hands. The hands are, you know, just dabs of color. So that's pretty much where I am with this painting. I'm sorry I didn't film it. And now I will show you the two together where you can see the image of the girl posing, and then the real photograph that's taken, and then you've got this rendition here. Well, that should do it for now. I'm sorry I didn't film it, but I talked you through it a little bit. I'm going to put that painting in my website, and it'll be for sale until it's dry. The link is down below in the subscription box, the information box, sorry. And join me again. If you're subscribed, you'll be notified, so you can join me again when I paint another figure, and I'm going to be filming that one this time. So I walk you through the very beginning stages, the toning of the canvas, the outline, the choice of colors, and all that stuff. So have a good rest of your week, and bye for now.